to detain a blighter for enjoying his whiskey.
How to get burned? How to get burned? How to get burned? How to get burned? You bitches! Take it easy with my cat! You bitches!
Whiskey.
We watch Nicolas Cage movies while slightly inebriated and then discuss them afterwards.
So you asked me about the whiskey. I'm asking you about the whiskey situation.
Yeah, and I told you I have a freshly poured glass of what the hell are we drinking?
We're drinking Aberfeldy. Their standard bottling is 12-year. It's a Highland single malt Scotch whiskey. It's very good.
That's good. That's the first sip I've taken of that tonight, and that's the first Scotch I've had in quite a while, actually. I'm drinking trash Irish whiskey. And
Trash? Come on. Bushmills isn't trash.
It's trash. Plus.
Jameson's trash.
It's like economy plus for Irish whiskey.
Well, first of all, I know we're recording right now, but I'm not going to be that formal because this is like a pre-ring of the podcast. Because we're talking about the whiskey situation here. Yeah. So, like, I had poured myself a complete new whiskey while you were setting up. Yeah. And I'm not talking about you setting up, taking too long or anything. Issues. Okay, so I was saying, while you were setting up, I poured myself another glass, but a shot worth of this Aberfeldy Highland single malt Scotch whiskey, which is really pretty good. Like for under $40, this is, to me, this is like an underappreciated whiskey.
I'm impressed with it.
Thank you
for that price range. Yeah,
I think that is that's a good indicator of how good it is for you to be impressed with it, and to indicate at that price range.
Because I'm a fake Scotch snob.
But you drink good shit, so you know what?
I'm a fake snob. I'm like one of those dicks. It's like, well, if it's expensive, actually that's not true because I hate Johnny Walker and all that.
Yeah.
That's overrated.
So like, I know this is a little bit of a tangent. So how would you compare this to your favorite Scotch whiskey, Oban?
It seems like it's maybe of a similar region.
Highland.
It is Highland.
Yes, it is.
You just said that, I think.
Yes, I did.
So I
Twice.
I can definitely see the similarities of it.
I feel they're of a similar character.
Yes.
Yeah.
And as you know well about me, when it comes to anything involving taste, I don't know how to describe taste.
You're like the Helen Keller of taste. Right?
Yeah. I can't deny it. Yeah. So no. But this is. I know I've had this before, but like I said, it's been a while, and this is good.
Yeah.
This was Rudy's choice today, and a fine choice it is.
Thank you. Anyway, so as I was saying, I need an anger whiskey because this fucking movie we watched, and I don't want to drink the Aberfeldy quickly. So I was asking you if I may please have an anger whiskey.
Okay.
Thank you.
All right. Yeah. Well, I don't think I have to. You don't have to ask me for permission to have an anger.
Well, because you bought the Bushmills for the last episode, and that you are entitled to the Bushmills. If you want to drink that at a later time when you're like in your room by yourself, doing
your stuff. So.
Yeah, I know, but thanks. Because I really need one because oh my god.
Oh, so are we stopping while you drink, or we're gonna?
You keep recording. You can cut this off if you want.
Live footage of Rudy pouring himself an anger whiskey.
Jesus Christ, that movie.
The anger whiskey he's opening up the freezer, and there's going to be ice involved because.
And I'm not even gonna get the sphere of ice because that's too fancy for this anger whiskey.
And also you never refill that thing. Also.
Fucking. What's that?
Never mind. You'll hear it. You'll hear it in the playback.
I need the fucking mechanically created.
That's a lot of ice.
Ice.
It's kind of a lot.
Well, I don't want to drink the whole.
Rudy's glass is full of. I mean, it is
full of ice and whiskey.
Goddamn full of.
Well, most of it was fucking. Jesus.
Yeah. So that well, you kind of got right to the point. The movie, the Cage movie we watched this week
Welcome to the Whiskey Cage.
The Whiskey Cage.
The podcast where we watch shitty Nicolas Cage movies.
I don't think initially. I know we kind of.
So we're starting now, right?
Yeah. Well,
okay.
we've been starting.
We've been starting.
I don't think we initially. We both went into this knowing, okay, Nic Cage makes a lot of silly movies, and that was kind of the,
silly.
Silly
is one description.
And this is week 3 of the Cage, of the Whiskey Cage. God damn it, of the Whiskey Cage, and this is by far the worst of the 3.
This is
seen so far. So what was the movie that we saw? Do you want to? I think last week you read a synopsis of it. I think we should do that again because.
No, I'm going to give you my synopsis of it.
Okay,
but it's not. It's going to be
That's fine. I'm going to give you the floor is yours.
Okay, so this week we watched Pay the Ghost. It's a movie with Nicolas Cage and the mom from The Walking Dead.
Dad, can we pay the ghost?
Pay the what? Charlie, did you see where my son went? Charlie! Charlie!
Where's Charlie? Where's Charlie?
I was holding his hand. I looked everywhere. I've been doing some research. Did you know that more children who disappear on Halloween don't ever come back? What if all of these missing children, what if they're all connected? What if there's something behind it? My son isn't dead.
So
2015. I hate to interrupt you.
No. Please do. Yeah. These are important details that we need to.
For some reason, I feel like the year of a movie is
important.
kind of important.
Yeah.
Right.
2015.
It gives you especially if it's a. This is not very heavy on special effects, but
there are some that are necessary.
It gives you a certain amount of expectations.
Yeah,
like, okay,
yeah.
a movie
You're totally
look,
right about
if you're
that.
watching a movie from 1983, you expect it's going to look
shitty special effects.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. You expect era appropriate special effects.
Right. So that's the only reason why I kind of
yeah.
Even when I'm watching a movie, one of the first things I look at is the year that it was made.
And that's a very important point that you're bringing up for later that we're going to talk about.
Yeah.
So that's 2015, right?
Yes.
Pay the Ghost with Nicolas Cage and the mom from The Walking Dead.
Sarah
Wayne Cayley's. I don't know if I'm saying that right, but whatever. The mom from The Walking Dead. And apparently a German chick that we both thought was Italian.
Yeah.
And she is
Veronica Ferris.
And she's a woman of a certain age. She's no spring chicken, but she looks very attractive in this movie. And we both thought she might have been a 90s porn star at one point.
I thought so.
And we had no idea where she was from. Right?
We both guessed.
Yeah, I thought she was from Italy initially. You thought she was from Scandinavia.
At first, but then when I took a second to think about it,
then you changed.
Without you telling me that you thought Italy,
you
said
changed
Italy
to Italy.
also.
Yeah. And then I was like, that's what my initial guess was. We were both totally wrong.
Quite shocked when we found out that she's from
Germany.
Oh, by the way, and you're doing an awful job of explaining this movie.
Well, we're getting to that.
I thought we were okay. I thought we wanted to just get that shit out of the way. This is the movie, and then
we're talking about the cast real quick. Okay, that's the main cast. Those are the 3 main people, besides the stupid kid. And
we probably should have covered this in our pre-production meeting.
Because we're gonna.
Which neither one of us showed up for.
The cat showed up and then left. Okay, so Nicolas Cage is a professor of literature or something in New York. His kid disappears on Halloween mysteriously, and he can't, like, he was there and he was gone and all. Yeah, and so now a year later, his life is falling apart. His wife is not living with him.
Yeah,
and he's going insane looking for his kid, and that's that's basically the movie.
Convinced, as every parent who's lost a child, convinced that the police are not doing enough.
Yes,
and that
no,
so he keeps on bringing stuff to the police. Like, have you looked into this guy? Have you looked into this guy?
And you're really jumping into already, which is going to be a major point in the movie.
Okay,
so. Yeah.
Right,
so let's I think we both have let off the vibe that we both hated this movie.
I fucking hated it.
It was terrible.
I could not wait for this movie to end. I think there was a point we were watching it, and I don't know, we had to stop maybe to get another drink or to take a piss, probably both. And you looked at the timeline, you were like, we're only 30 minutes into this. and it's only an hour and a half long, so it's not like it's a long movie, but that first 30 minutes, it's like
it goes on forever, dude.
But nothing happens.
Nothing at all happened. I could not describe the first 20 minutes of the movie to you. Remember? I was like, hey, so we've been watching this shit for like 20, 25 minutes. What's happened? What is this movie about? And you're like, I don't know.
The only thing that happened, so as you mentioned, it takes place, at least the first part of the movie takes place on Halloween night. And just to get into some of because these are the things that I don't know if directors realize like how much like these tiny details really throw off a movie. But Nicolas Cage is dressed as a cowboy with his son on Halloween.
And
he doesn't have a cowboy hat.
How do you? Yeah,
that's the first step of dressing like a fucking.
And
cowboy.
his cowboy shirt and his cowboy pants and his cowboy boots are very elaborate.
Yes.
It looks like a coordinated cowboy outfit that you would get from Central Casting that you would not get at Big Lots or Walmart. It looks like something somebody put together.
Right.
But there's no fucking cowboy hat.
Cowboy hat. And as a result, at least from the waist up, he looks like an Elvis impersonator.
Yes, he does.
And I that's just one of those things. It's like, why?
Dude.
Why would you leave that?
Complete the fucking costume.
Yeah.
Did you not have the budget for the cowboy hat? You only had the budget for the shitty jump scares? Of which there were...
7.
7.
I counted 7. And there were probably more, and they ranged from boring to pathetic, basically. there wasn't a single. Maybe the first one was just.
The first one got you because it was just so loud and in your face.
Exactly. It was,
and then all of the other ones were just like. It was like watching a shitty comic at an empty dive bar do his act. Like that's what it was like. It was just like, oh my god.
Another thing about, and this is something that jump scares shouldn't do. Like pretty much on every single one of them, we could point out 30 seconds in advance that there's going to be a jump scare. Like there was nothing original about any of them.
Yeah, there were at different points in the movie because there were at least 7 jump scares. There were 7.
7 that I got.
7.
Yeah. And I think
at every single one of these points, like either you or I looked to the other person and were like jump scare.
Yeah,
jump scare.
Like well in advance.
Jump scare.
Right.
Jump scare. Yeah. That's exactly what happened. It turned into a Cyanide and Happiness fucking cartoon, dude. Jump scare. Jump scare.
That's a great analogy. Yeah, that's what.
This movie sucked.
It was. Yeah, as I mentioned.
Do you want to kind of just go through it and let people know so they don't have to watch the fucking movie?
Well, I thought that's what you just did.
Yeah, but like get into it a little more, like actually what happens, because Nicolas Cage is a professor at what looks like NYU or
Columbia,
like a really fancy university in New York.
And just outside of just the university that he works at,
he lives in a very swanky part of New York,
like
right?
A beautiful brownstone in Greenwich Village with
it's like a 3-story house, right?
Stained windows, and they have elaborate art on the walls. It looks like this is a multi-million dollar.
This is like some baller shit you would see on Pads or like that MTV show where they showed you like celebrities' houses. Is that called Pads or Cribs? Cribs. Pads.
I think
Cribs.
I think in Britain it was called Flats.
What was it called in Thailand?
Oh man. Okay. I don't know what you're trying to start, but I know you have a plan.
So this place is fucking like a really nice A really nice place in New York.
And again, that's one
before
of those things,
pandemic.
It distracts me from the movie because I'm like, okay, this guy's a professor. It's never really clearly stated what his wife does. She's some type of designer or something. But
she's a creative.
They live in the home of a multi-millionaire.
The Greenwich Village brownstone apartment.
Which, yeah. If you follow real estate prices, it's a pretty sweet price for something like that.
But they happen to have like a what looks like a Halloween carnival that's happening at the end of our street in East LA, Los Angeles. With like food trucks and shit there.
Although maybe Cage is super rich in this movie because there's one thing that you pointed out astutely. He's a very generous tipper.
Yeah. Okay, so this is what happens. So he's away a lot. He's not at home a lot, and he loves his kid. His kid loves him. Then the mom's always like, "Oh yeah, well your dad's working." Blah, blah. So he's a professor at this fancy university, and he's trying to get tenure there. And he's looking at these letters because even though they live in this multi-million-dollar house in
Greenwich Village,
he really needs to get tenure so he can get this big pay bump and all this other shit. It'll really help him out. Because he's not making it yet. apparently,
yeah.
So he's away a lot, doing what he needs to do for that to happen. And Halloween is very important to this family for some reason.
I don't know. Is it?
I don't know. Maybe it's just the upcoming holiday that
the son is kind of.
He's really looking forward to it.
Really wants to
so they're supposed to carve the pumpkin together and all. So he can't do all that shit. He's just away, and then he gets home. He rushes.
He spends late nights in the library.
Yeah,
right?
he's flipping
not
pages.
Sure what he's researched.
I think he's just looking at porn in the library. That's what I think he's doing.
Well, that's.
Because they wouldn't in the movie. They wouldn't show his computer screen.
I think he was looking at books, but
they had that. He had that filter on it where you have to be like really up close.
Yeah, I remember when my former coworker ordered one of those. Like, I need this because of the glare. And like, you don't sit anywhere near a window. There's no fucking glare.
There's no lights near you, dude.
I know you're on some dating.
You want to look at porn and when you're
no. It was a chick, and I know you're on Facebook. Fucking 6 hours a
trying
day.
to get a husband.
Yeah.
Yeah. So anyway, Nic Cage. What's his name? His name is Mike. Mike. He's a scholar and a professor at a prestigious New York university named Mike.
And he's
not Michael. Mike.
And it's very silly, but like at the beginning, he's this super enthusiastic professor.
Oh yeah, he's reading.
His classroom is full of students. Many of them very hot young girls that are like kind of giving him like the
they admire him so much,
like the Indiana Jones students. Like they're staring at him.
They're eye fucking him basically.
And then when they just to jump to later on after his kid is gone. Yeah. Apparently, I thought.
Let's illustrate a little bit about how fawning his audience is in at first, because he's up there with a book of literature in his hands
and jumping around,
and he's reading the book, and he's making it come to life, and the stories are coming out, and they see what he's saying, like that's what he's doing, and then he snaps the book shut. So you see. And then he asks, "What? Blah blah blah. Students, what do you think?" Right. And then it's so
and all the girls
badly done that it's just so. It's like, oh my god!
All the girls in class are just jizzing their pants. Like
they had already. They're making squeak whenever they move. Their seats are squeaking. That's how much they cream their pants, dude.
Yeah.
It was ridiculous.
It really was. And then to contrast that, they show him later, like after his kid is.
So his kid gets right after that, his kid gets kidnapped on Halloween by the ghost.
Yeah, and the movie jumps to a year later.
Yeah.
Although you pointed
a year later, and he has
minus 3 days. So it's 360.
Yes, it's not a year. It's not a year later. It's a little bit,
but he has like 7 uninterested students,
and he has. But first he wakes up alone in a studio apartment, and on the wall of opposite of his bed he has like the fucking Charlie Day, built
This goes all the way
Always Sunny in Philadelphia built pictures and shit out where they get a job. He's like Pepe Sylvia. Like that's what he has because he's looking for his kids still almost a year later, and it's just so it's too much. It's really too much.
Yeah, and so like
like you were saying, like it jumps to almost a year later, and he goes and in class he's like, and he's like Ben Stein in class now.
Yeah, and he's got like 7 uninterested students.
Yeah,
like, they don't care. He doesn't care. Nobody cares.
It's the literature of the 1800s. That's what he's doing.
Papers are due Friday by 4 p.m.
If you want an A, come to my office hours and give me a hand job.
I don't think he said that.
I might cry, but that's extra credit.
Again, I don't think that happened in the movie, but
no, it didn't happen. They didn't show it, but it was implicated.
It was implied. All right. So I think it's pretty well documented. This movie.
Okay, so this
not only was it bad, it like annoyed us, and
we wanted it. We come in. You and I have come into this venture like enthusiastic and positive and really open minded, but this movie just fucking punches you in the nuts and wants you to quit.
This movie made me want to go watch Primal. Like that's
I'm pretty sure we both at different points, like right at the beginning, like both of us were like, dude, this is the fucking worst movie we've seen so far. Both of the movies we saw were entertaining up to this point for different reasons, even though they were not great movies. They were shitty movies, but they were entertaining in some aspect.
Oh, compared to this, Primal
was a comedy masterpiece compared to this.
Fucking fantastic.
Yeah, this was Hollywood bad. Like, this is when Hollywood gets a hold of something and then just, like, chokes it out and just fucking smashes his elbow into its face.
On its face.
Yeah, and just, yeah. This is what this Hollywood curb stomping a movie. That's what happened here. Because this is just bad. There's nothing redeeming at all about this movie. Like this movie breaks the whiskey scale, and I'm not trying.
I was going to ask you. So on the whiskey scale, which we
it doesn't apply.
So just a quick recap of what the whiskey scale is, because
the whiskey scale is malleable. It can become different things.
It's very malleable, but essentially, the higher whiskey rating, the worse the movie.
Typically because you need to have more whiskey to be able to enjoy it. But even a bottle of whiskey is not going to get you through this movie.
Because what you should do is you should drink a half a bottle of whiskey, fall asleep, like put this movie on as you're passing out. Because there's no reason to even fucking...
It's really bad.
Although this movie might haunt your drunk dreams, and that might be a bad thing. You might wake up like thinking about like uninteresting plot lines.
And that'll make you want you to slit your wrists. So basically, let's just go through it real quick so people don't have to watch this stupid ass fucking movie. So his kid gets kidnapped. He's literally holding his kid's hand at this Halloween carnival. Mm-hmm. The kid is seeing these. Apparently, the kid sees an apparitions before Halloween. And there's a vulture following him for some reason.
That's never really explained. I guess the vulture.
There's vultures in New York.
Yeah.
Excuse me.
And then,
this movie is literally giving me an anxiety attack. Oh, okay. So yeah, this kid, he makes these ominous comments that mean nothing because we haven't been given any context to them at all, and it's just like.
Well, like the kid just says to him, Dad, are we gonna pay the ghost or something?
Yeah, he's like, Dad, can we pay the ghost? It's like, and he's like, what? And then 2 seconds later, the kid disappears, and then his kid is dressed as a pirate without a pirate's eye patch.
Again, just weak ass
bootleg. No eye patch at all. And then the kid's hat's there, and then Nic Cage starts freaking out. He's acting freaked out, like. I don't even know what the kid's name is, but he's like screaming the kid's name. Charlie. Oh, yes. How could I forget? Because the whole time I was thinking about the stupid YouTube video of fucking Charlie bit me. And that's what I was thinking about the whole time.
Oh, I was thinking about Charlie Day.
That's another one.
I typically think about Charlie Day often, though, so it's not unusual.
Because you kind of wish you were Charlie Day.
No, I do not wish I was Charlie Day. Unfortunately, I'm a little too much like Charlie Day sometimes.
As his character in Always Sunny. Not the actual Charlie Day.
I don't kill rats.
You don't pull your teeth out with... We love that show. Both of us love that show.
Yeah. If you
watch this show,
instead of this movie, go watch.
It's Always Sunny.
Like 3 episodes of It's Always Sunny. Like the worst 3 episodes of Always Sunny will be 100 times better than this movie.
Yeah, like not even. Yeah, it's fucking. Yeah. Okay. So his kid gets kidnapped. A year later, he's just down in the dumps. Blah blah blah. And for some reason, he's still putting. No, not for some reason. They're making it seem like he's a really dedicated, like, I gotta find my son.
Oh, he's obsessed with his son.
Yeah, he's obsessed with finding his son. He's gonna find out what happens no matter what. He literally says that in the movie. So he's putting up like missing posters or missing flyers everywhere. And he goes to the police station. He goes to the police station and has the most cliche like give me back my son scene ever.
You're not doing your job. You're not doing your job. Well, before that, because I made a note of this, and I have just a 2-word note: Officer Crackhead. For some reason, there is
a woman in this
cast in. Oh my god! Why would they? Well, I thought of her as Officer Kraken. You mentioned you thought that she looked like a black female Mo from Three Stooges, which is I think equally accurate. It's just her presence. Like it was kind of a throwaway character. Like she has a couple of lines, but she's distracting.
Yeah,
and I feel bad about this. I'm sure she's a nice woman who's like she's probably played extras, and she's like, oh, I have a couple of lines in a movie.
It's a big deal when you can speak some lines.
Yeah,
for some reason, in when they're like looking for people.
Now you're SAG or whatever.
I don't even whatever. But as I understand it from talking to people. Like, we both know people. Because we both live in LA. We know some people, blah, blah, blah.
And she's interacting with Nick. She's like, I have a scene with Nic Cage. Like, that's kind of a big deal.
It is a big deal.
If you're a struggling actor in LA, that's
a giant fucking deal.
A thing. But she kind of looks like a crackhead.
They got a woman that does not look the part.
She doesn't look like a police officer.
No, she does not.
Like, the haircut, like, just...
She just looks so out of place, and this is nothing against her. It's just the situation they put her in. She does not look like she belongs in the role.
Yeah, and maybe that's more to do with wardrobe, or I don't know. Maybe they did something.
I think that has a lot to do with it, actually, because they did not do her any favors. Like her hairstyle, what she was wearing. It was just like. Yeah, it was really
again as I've harkened back to several times. It's things like that in a movie that take you. Not that this had a great story, anyways, but when minor details are just like it distracts you. It's like wait, why was that cop? Why did that cop look like a fucking crackhead? And like means like, okay, that's not the point of the movie. Like there's
but it takes you out of the
exactly.
You need to do some sort of suspension of disbelief when you go into a movie to like actually get into it and like enjoy it and kind of get what they're trying to get at. But when little things, I from knowing you, like I can. Like let go of. I'm a bigger suspender of disbelief than you are.
Yeah.
Just in general, there's some things that I freak out on that you don't, like nerd shit. But little things like that, they count. They matter.
Yeah, they do. And I have the same problem with music as well. Like when.
Both of us actually have
it can be a really great song, but then the lyrics, like the singer has the worst lyrics. I'm just like, Why would you fuck up a great song with that?
The terrible voice. Anyway, we're not blaming the whole movie on this one casting decision.
I'm gonna have a pause here really quickly.
Sure.
Because can I ask you to pass me the whiskey?
Which one would you like?
The good stuff.
Here's the good stuff.
Because
we're not blaming the whole faults of this movie on this one woman.
No.
Not at all.
Oh,
because
of all the problems in this movie,
she does her job
she's
quite well. Like she does what she's given.
Yeah, I absolutely. Yeah, I don't want to make it sound. I don't want to disparage her.
And she's not the only one that's miscast. It's like, and we're being kind of stupid nerd. Like we're being
Veronica Ferris is.
We're doing a little nerd. We're being too movie nerd-y, I think, a little bit. But we both notice this shit. And if you're nerds like us, you're gonna notice. So just if you watch this movie, don't watch it. But if you do, you're gonna notice some of the shit we noticed. Well, the police guy when the kid gets kidnapped. Well, yeah, he's miscast also.
well, actually, I'll say like every conversation that Nic Cage has with that police detective, I feel
is right out of like cheesy cop movie.
I think you could have like done a cut and paste from movies that already exist. And
yeah,
just like those lines were literally said like.
Exactly,
and
the scene. Already. Okay, so Nicolas Cage. It's like it's almost the 1 year anniversary of Nicolas Cage's kid getting abducted on Halloween. So it's a few days before Halloween. So he goes to the precinct, and then like, here, I'm just dropping off these flyers so you guys can hand them out. And then the desk cop Officer Kraken.
I'm sorry, actress lady. I'm sure you're a very nice person. Yeah, I feel really bad. I'm gonna cut this out. So.
No, dude, but yeah, it's like what? So yeah, he's like, Officer Crackhead, can you? Here's the fucking and she's like, Mike, hey Mike. We all got a lot of these back already. Like that's the thing that happens. Yeah. And then he's like, well, I'm gonna go talk to the detective. And she's like, hey, detective's busy. And he's like, oh, I'll just be a minute.
And he just walks into the police
station.
And
he just walks in there. And she does her job. She gets mad and she gets the phone. She's gonna tell him that Mike's coming up. Yeah. But it's too late because Mike's up there and he gets the most cliched conversation with a police detective that you will ever get into, because literally go ahead, please.
Like I said,
please carry on.
It was a cut and paste conversation.
Yes.
We've heard this conversation in 50 different cop movies for whatever reason. Like there was not a single interesting or original line spoken in that. Like
there was literally the scene where Nicolas Cage calls the guy lazy.
Yeah. And
the detective goes to he's standing up with his hands on his hips. Yeah. And he's like, oh, he gets that look in his eye where, oh, you just called me lazy? And he turns around, pulls open his desk, pulls out a giant thick pile of folders and papers and slams it down on the desk.
And not even sitting in like a folder file, just kind of laying down in that drawer for something,
slams it down. Are you calling me lazy? I've been looking for this kid.
You see all that?
Yeah.
There's 20 times that in these computers.
Cliche. Yeah. Oh. And it's like you and I looked at each other at that point, and we're like, when we both shook our heads. It was, and I'm almost done with this anger whiskey.
You could drink good whiskey after that one.
Yeah, I'm gonna drink good whiskey after this because I deserve it after that travesty of
that movie.
Fucking cinema. That was awful, dude.
That movie made me angry.
It made me angry too. I think you could tell.
Do you remember who the director's name is?
It was some weird Uli Edel, something like that. I don't know. So Nic Cage.
We're going back to the story. Yeah, okay.
He's looking for the kid, but they put every trope of every horror movie. They try to slam that in there. Like he has some vision of the kid on a bus, he chases the bus down, and he's not on there.
And I mean, from second number when you see Nic Cage see the kid on the bus, we all knew how that scene was going to play out.
I knew. Yeah, and it took 2 minutes to get there, right?
It's just like
it took 2 minutes to get to that point.
It's just. God damn it, dude!
So he gets on the bus. Everybody looks at him like he's crazy. He
chases the bus down for like 5 blocks.
Yeah,
and then he finally gets on the bus, and
the bus driver lets him in, even though he's a crazy man chasing the bus for fucking 3 blocks.
Yeah,
and he's like, Charlie, where are you, Charlie? And everybody's looking at him like, this motherfucker crazy, and Charlie's nowhere to be found.
Shockingly,
ghost movie number 53,000.
Fucking believe.
So yeah, but apparently he, instead of taking that as like he's going crazy, he's like, Charlie's trying to reach out to me from beyond. And then he goes to his ex-wife and he's like, look, guess what? I saw Charlie on a bus, except he wasn't there. Yeah, do you believe me?
Yeah. Oh no, yeah, sure. Have you been seeing Charlie lately? Like, have you
hey, I know we haven't seen each other for a year.
Yeah.
But you know what? I think I'm seeing our dead son. What do you think? And she's like, I can't deal with this right now, rightfully. And then she goes home, and there's actually a legitimately cool scene at this point in the movie. Like, everything is shit, but for some reason, okay, everything is shit. She wakes up in the morning, but she wakes up like a Disney princess in bed for some reason. It's ridiculous. All of a sudden, she opens her eyes, she gets up, she's like, oh, something's happening. And then we know she's gonna check it out. So she goes downstairs.
I'm sorry, dude, but can I?
Yes, please. Okay,
because going back earlier, because I remember you made a point during the movie where they had, after that scene in the cafe, they're fighting on the sidewalk, and you actually said, you're like, she's doing a good job in this movie, like, because they had that fight in the sidewalk. That's before that.
Yeah,
right?
This is directly before that.
Yeah.
She's the mom from Walking Dead.
And she's putting some effort.
She's a good actress.
And this is the Whiskey Cage. I don't put any of the blame of this on Nicolas Cage. I think he did what Cage does. He caged it up.
In the last movie, I will disagree with you on some points about the caging up of things.
Yeah.
I specifically the action scenes. You were saying it wasn't Cage's fault.
No, it wasn't.
It wasn't his fault, but Cage would not have been able to do the scenes you were talking about.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah.
He contributed.
You're right,
he contributed to
right.
it also.
Yeah.
It wasn't his fault directly, but he fucked it up too. That's all I'm saying. Anyway. Yeah, Cage would not have been able to say this movie whatsoever. Like, this movie was not his fault.
I mean, the greatest actor in the world could not have saved this movie.
No, because it was horrible.
Yeah.
So yeah, so basically what happens is that Cage they're in a cafe and he kind of like lets out this woo-woo shit to his ex-wife that he thinks he's being... Yeah. Maybe their son is contacting him from beyond, and she freaks out and like, really, yeah, fuck yeah. She's like, fuck you, dude, I can't deal with this, and leaves. He follows her, and he's like, what if? And she's like,
but I like how your Cage impression kind of sounds like Keanu. Have they ever done a movie together, Keanu and Cage?
That's a great question. I have no idea. Let's find out. We're gonna search this.
We'll do that. We'll have to.
Yeah, we're gonna watch that movie next, by the way, if that has happened.
Yeah, right.
But anyway. Yeah, so, and then he follows her, and then she does what any sane woman would do. She's like, what the fuck, dude? Like, you're freaking out. I can't deal with this shit.
You're losing your shit.
You're losing your shit. I don't want to this is madness. And she takes off and leaves him staring at, like out into the fucking sky, like, yeah. And then directly after that, camera goes to her as a Disney princess in bed.
Oh yeah.
And it's literally, you could see it's daytime, it's morning time, and she's just like, all of a sudden she opens her eyes and something's amiss. Something is not right. Her eyes dart one way and then the other. Oh no. She gets out of she sits up, looks towards the kitchen. Does she hear something? She gets out of bed and walks over. There's a feeling, coldness, tense. She walks downstairs. So this is a legitimately cool scene. Like, besides that first part where she's in the bed, she walks downstairs And then all of a sudden, in the other room, in the kitchen, where she left some books open, a fucking scooter, a Razor scooter, like rolls across the floor. And that was really fucking cool. And all of a sudden, the fucking scare violins going, dun! And oh my God, this is scary. Hollywood, please tell me how scary this shit is. And then the scooter goes across, goes down the hall, and comes right in front of her and then topples over. And it would have been fucking amazing, except that there was some scary Hollywood music blasting in my fucking ears the whole time.
So let me ask you then, like, besides the music, who was riding the scooter? Why was that scooter being...
Because the scooter, well, story-wise, the scooter was attached to Charlie.
But was Charlie riding it?
At the time, no.
Was this her imagination?
You bring up a great point.
I'm just curious. I'm like where, like, what was the point?
Well, I think the movie was trying to get across that Charlie was trying to trying to let his mom know that he's still around. Maybe
he had like small points where he could break through or something. Like,
you would think maybe he could be a little more
direct.
Yeah. Hey, Mom, I'm not dead yet. Just come over to fucking Ghostland and get me, which is basically what Nicolas Cage does at the end of the movie. He goes to a homeless guy and asks him, hey, how can I save my kid? And the homeless guy goes, hey, man, just go over there. Get that motherfucker. He's fucking over there. And so Nicolas Cage runs across the bridge on Halloween.
Can we go back a little bit before?
Yeah.
And I'm not sure if I really want to discuss this. So there are...
Wait. I need more whiskey. Can we do that first?
Yeah.
I need more whiskey.
Well, we'll keep recording because the whiskey refills are the highlights, I think, of this.
I'm glad you haven't, like, trolled for sponsors yet. I'm really happy about that.
So Rudy is now...
I emptied my ice.
Oh, because here for all you young whiskey drinkers out there, when you're drinking a glass of whiskey with ice, and then you're going to a different whiskey, particularly a higher grade, you got to empty that fucking ice from the first one.
You don't want to water down that.
You can't, and you don't want to mix those flavors. You want to have a pure because now. Rudy, you were drinking on the rocks.
No, I was drinking.
You were drinking Bushmills on the rocks. Now you're drinking.
Now I'm drinking Aberfeldy Neat.
Yeah, neat. And this is.
I rinsed out the glass, but kept because I had ice in it.
Yeah,
kept the glass chilled.
New glass. Yeah, that's fine.
Yeah, kept the glass chilled, rinsed it out, put the new shit in there.
And this is a bit of a sidebar, but. The difference, because we will often hear people at a bar.
Are we whiskey nerding out right now?
No, well, we're bar nerding out. People go to a bar and they order like a whiskey shot, and then there's also a whiskey neat.
Yeah, but nobody orders a whiskey neat. They always order when they order a shot of whiskey. People usually don't know how to order whiskey.
So
that's usually what
I order a whiskey neat.
Yeah, because you know how to drink whiskey.
So my point is, if you're going to a bar and you want whiskey without any ice, you just want straight whiskey. First of all, don't say straight whiskey
because that means something different.
Yeah, whiskey neat is how you order. This is a part of a different podcast where we're just going to teach people how to go to a fucking bar.
This was the original incarnation of this podcast.
Yeah. But then COVID happened and we couldn't fucking go out to bars.
There's no such thing as straight whiskey. Straight whiskey became a thing because stupid people don't know how to order whiskey.
Or they watched movies. They watched cowboy movies or westerns where people said, whiskey straight.
Yeah,
like that.
You can order a drink straight up which is different than without ice. If you're ordering something without ice, that's neat. And I know there's going to be fucking bar nerds that are going to fucking... Like, you know what? Fuck you guys. We know what we're talking about.
And also, don't go to a bar and ask for whiskey. There are many kinds of whiskey.
Yeah, just order the fucking whiskey you want.
Yeah, that's like... I'm trying... Like, what would the equivalent of the going to just like... give me drink at like going to McDonald's and like,
can I get a beer?
Yeah,
Give me a beer here.
Well, fucking people do that also. People order beer.
I've actually seen that. That's
but I'm just thinking like, like people, they'll be like going to a McDonald's and saying like, I'll have a hamburger and drink. Or something. So like, that's as descriptive as when you say I want a whiskey.
Know what you want to order before you go up there.
And if you don't know,
do a little,
depending where you are, maybe ask the bartender like, hey, what's your most popular whiskey? Or I don't know much about whiskey.
You know what? You want to know what I did before I went out?
Yeah.
Like when I decided I was gonna go try like really adult drinking.
Did you listen to the Whiskey Cage?
I did not because
should have.
I should have. I should have built a time machine.
Yes.
But I decided I wanted to try gin and scotch. Mm-hmm. I was a young non-drinker and was like, you know what? I'm gonna try these ones because those seem classy and I've seen those. So I tried gin, and I was like, everybody knows gin and tonic, right? And it tasted like sour soda or like Sprite that was fucked up. But I would drink it, whatever.
A mutual friend of ours who was a bartender described gin as tasting like Christmas trees. and I was like, oh,
yeah, gin does taste like Christmas trees.
I had never thought about that until she told me that. I was like, oh,
she's totally right.
Yeah.
So yeah, and then I tried scotch. And I didn't know what I was doing. I was just like talking to the bartender. Hey man, like, can you? What's up with the chivas? It's like, oh okay. And you don't know what you're doing when you first start drinking. You have to kind of learn that shit. And if you want to be a good drinker, you should learn from the best, which is us.
And when you're in an appropriate situation, the bartender is not overwhelmed. Most bartenders are happy to like kind
talk
of
to you about drinking.
Like hey, what is most popular? They'll tell you what people drink. They'll tell you one of my favorite things to ask a bartender is like, what is your worst? What do you hate when people order this? And like, you'll find out what you should not order at a bar. And don't do it when you're at if you're at a club. And it's fucking pumping, and there's 20 people behind you.
Yeah, go ahead and order the fucking fruit shots, the candy shots.
Don't start a conversation with the bartender at that point.
Don't try to get her number.
Yeah.
Yeah, just order your fucking drinks, pound them, and then freak on some chicks on the dance floor.
And always tip. If you are a person who doesn't like tipping.
Then you're trash. You're as trash as this Nicolas Cage movie.
Then don't go to a bar.
But it's not his fault.
Don't go to a bar.
Yeah.
If you think that you can order 3 drinks and leave a $1
if you don't like tipping, go hang out with the fucking homeless dudes outside of your local liquor store and drink with them.
Exactly.
Because they don't expect to tip you in there.
Because
they will want to tip. They will want you to buy them some more, tall boys. But you don't have to. But if you go drink at a bar at a real city, then you have to tip.
Yeah, it's as simple as that.
And that's your whiskey
tip of the day.
Tip of the day.
Anyway, tip of the day.
Tip of the day.
I mean, tip because we're talking about tipping. So
tip
of the day.
Yeah, that's a tip. Yeah, we're tipping it.
So, anyways, it's the Whiskey Cage. Did we finish? Oh, actually, we did not finish covering this actual because there's a whole shit show in the last half hour.
Nicolas Cage literally enlists the help of a hobo to tell him where the netherworld is.
A blind hobo, which again...
blind hobo.
Just stolen from... I mean...
So the blind hobo asks for Nic Cage's watch. He's like, hey, give me a watch. And he puts the watch to his ear and he goes... I'm blind, I ain't deaf. And for some reason, he listens to the clicking of the watch, and a portal to the ghost realm opens up. In the sewers, in Bum World.
Yeah.
And then Nicolas Cage goes over there, and he finds 3 very ethnically diverse children that have been missing for the past year, including his own, which is white.
Well, actually, so do you want to go back because he met those children?
He met their parents.
Oh,
we met
we met their parents.
We met them. Nic Cage met them, and we did. We went along with the journey.
Nic Cage didn't meet Mia's mom.
Oh
that
no,
was the
that was no. That was it. The detective.
Detective.
Was it the detective or the Walking Dead mom that met the fake Chinese mom?
The detective went to Chinatown.
Oh yeah, you're right.
And that mom did. I mean, a cringeworthy version.
Her faux. Okay, let's set this up because we're not trying to be racist whatsoever. So
this movie was racist.
This movie is racist.
Yeah.
So So Nicolas Cage finds out that the fucking ghost kidnaps kids on Halloween.
3 kids every year because the mom had 3 kids.
Because the mom had 3 kids, blah, blah, blah. So the 3 kids that were kidnapped his year happened to be his kid, which is a white kid, Latino kid named Pablo, right? And Asian kid who was Chinese in this incarnation of Asian kid in this Hollywood movie named Mia, even though she's Chinese. And that's not really... Okay, whatever. Anyway, so he goes to the ghost world and he finds all these fucking lost kids. And he happens to find his kid. So he grabs his kid's hand and he's going back to the real world. And then, like, these other 2, like, minority kids are like, wait for us. Please save us.
Whoa. I'm sorry, dude, but I don't know. Do we want to talk about the scene where the detective goes to talk to Mia's mom? And it's embarrassing.
Yes, because that happens before this. But yeah, that's what I meant to talk about. But since I'm so angry and have had so many anger whiskeys today, like my thought process is not completely there. But yes, that's what happens. So like, yeah, that's how ethnically diverse this crop of stolen children is. And before this scene happens, the detective that's handling Nic Cage's son's case happens to remember like a case similar,
but it's kind of based on what like because Cage tells him something or the wife like
the pay the ghost line,
pay
right?
the ghost thing, and then he's like looking through his files like so okay. Very we're going off on a tangent right here, but I need to bring this up.
Please do.
Do you remember? So he's looking through Pablo's file, and do you remember what he sees like in Pablo's files?
Fantasma.
And so,
which is bringing us back to the first podcast we did,
and which is bringing me to I am developing and I took notes on this. I am now developing a Nic Cage theory.
Nic Cage theory.
And this
another Nic Cage theory. How many Cage theories are there?
This is only. I'm basing this on 2 movies only.
Only 2 movies
that he made in the last.
Please tell me the theory.
Nic Cage will make any movie as long as you have the word phantasma in the script.
Phantasma.
I think he likes the word phantasma.
Do you have to say it in some pseudo ethnic accent, or can you say phantasma?
I think it depends on
on the script.
Because again, this is an early theory. I'm basing this on 2 movies, and
so wait a minute.
I'm hoping it pans out.
Okay, so this movie, Pay the Ghost, came out like not sort of halfway, but kind of in between the last 2 movies we reviewed. Fucking Primal, which was Fat Indiana Jones Nic Cage, and Bangkok Dangerous, which was like mid 40s Nic Cage, who was
in good shape for a mid 40s guy.
I don't agree with that.
Well, anyway,
I'm gonna say okay shape for a mid 40s Nic Cage, impersonating Vincent Vega.
Thank you for
No, you were totally correct about that shit. Yeah, he totally was doing it.
So anyway, in this maybe this movie is what kicked it off, but like I believe he likes the word phantasma. We're gonna see if this plays out. What
does that word mean?
It's a ghost, I believe.
Is it?
In
what language?
Espanol?
Is that what you think?
Correct me if I'm wrong.
Why I'm asking you. You're the authority.
I'm not the authority. I am.
Are you not?
Certainly not in the Spanish language.
Yes, it's yes. That's what it means.
It's
in Espanol.
So that's. I mean, 2 out of 3 movies that we've seen with him, the word
phantasma
has come up, and we'll see.
We'll see what happens
as this podcast progresses. We will be keeping a Phantasma track. We'll do
Phantasma track.
There will be a Phantasma.
Well, I like how you took the jump scare track. 7 jump scares in this movie, and all of them were fucking shitty except for maybe the first one. So like 6.5.
Rudy, in my real life, I am an accountant. I kind of like to do that.
You like numbers.
I do.
You like taking. What happened there?
I like keeping track of because and I also like baseball, and I like the.
You like the orderliness of the numbers in baseball.
I'm gonna be the is it Bill James? Who is
Bill James?
Is he the original? Like the stat guy for MLB.
I have no idea.
I think he was the original dude.
Are you talking about the first like Moneyball? Like general manager?
Yeah.
It's Billy Bean, dude.
No, Bill James, but he based his stuff on.
I don't know about that.
Yeah, Billy Bean was
which was the entire movie. Yeah, but Billy Bean played baseball, and then he became the general manager for the Oakland Athletics. And then the fat dude from Superbad was his assistant.
But all of that data they used was based on this other guy. I think it's
his formulaic thinking.
I think it's Bill James. I didn't
know about that part.
I think he was doing it used to be called rotary baseball. I think he was doing that in the 70s.
Oh, the fucking Roto Geeks?
Yeah. So
and
Bill
all their
James
nerd
was
shit.
Yeah, so he was a super stat nerd, and I think he was a really smart guy, an actual statistician from, I want to say Harvard, but
I knew a guy like that.
Well,
he was a really interesting guy because numbers were like reality for that guy.
So my point is, I'm going to be the Bill James of Nic Cage movies.
So I'll be the drunk Nic Cage of the Nic Cage podcast then. I'll just drink all the whiskey.
Well, I don't think you're going to do that because I am drinking a lot of whiskey tonight also.
So where did we leave off? Fucking...
Well, I was bringing up my theory about the Phantasma, and then because I felt like
Well, there's a point in his career. Well, go ahead.
Okay.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
Going. You were explaining the movie.
Yeah.
You're doing a fantastic job. You jumped over. You were like, oh, he's rescuing these kids, but we also met those kids' parents before.
Yes.
And those are the worst scenes. I mean, in a bad movie,
dude,
those were the worst.
I'm really happy you stopped me there.
Cringe-worthy scenes. Holy shit!
This scene was. I know this.
Pablo's
term gets thrown around a lot, especially on the internet. Cringeworthy.
Yeah.
This scene was literally cringeworthy.
Which one? Because there's a couple.
Well, I thought the Pablo's dad scene worked better than the Chinese mother working at the restaurant scene because her accent, her trying to be like an immigrant, not even first generation, a fob Chinese woman. Yeah. She was trying to do. Oh my god.
She was an Asian actress.
Yes, that obviously did not speak.
She obviously spoke perfect English, and she sounded like a dumb white person doing a Chinese. She didn't even do a good Chinese accent. It was like I could do a better Chinese accent. I'm not going to ask you to do that now.
I'm not going to do it because I'm not trying to be insulting, but I live in Los Angeles, literally right next to Chinatown. I've had a lot of Chinese friends, and I've dated a number of Chinese girls, so I know how they talk, and I've actually been to China, so I understand. Like
that woman spoke like
it was like she didn't. It was not.
She spoke perfect English, and she just decided to like you throw in bad grammar occasionally
to try to sound Chinese, but that's not how a Chinese person would speak English. It was not authentic whatsoever. It was awful. Like it was so bad. It was distracting.
As you said, it was cringe. That
cringe
word is thrown around.
But you don't have like those experiences that I do. Like actually, like you know what I mean. But you could even see that. Like you could see it.
Well, dude, I live in LA.
Yeah, I know you do.
I go to the Ham on a regular. I used to go there.
Like you're exposed to Chinese people and how they talk and how they speak English, and that's not at all like it was comical. Like what she was doing, it was like really horrible.
Yeah, it really was.
I mean. That was one of the few points in the movie where I openly laughed. The first part where the fucking vulture was just like, just like flying down New York.
I think we need to discuss, I don't know, the vulture later. Because I don't understand the vulture. I'm vulture confused. But anyways, since we were talking about the other kids' parents, there's a scene where they go talk to Pablo's dad.
Parents, yeah. And they try to make this dude like so gangstered out. Like it's like, oh my God.
And he's just like, they go to his apartment, and first of all, so his dad has now become a heroin addict because his son got abducted.
And for some reason, he has sores all over himself.
And for some reason, he doesn't feel the need to lock his apartment door.
No.
Like they just walk in.
Yeah. He doesn't give a fuck. So does he have AIDS or something? Is he so hard up that he has to suck dick for heroin money
so he had like sores all over his head and face because he has a shaved head. Is that a meth thing?
I don't know.
I don't think the director.
Like I understood what you were saying because like that's what you would expect, but. Is that what happens when you become a meth addict? Also, I don't know because meth is fucked up. Right?
I think your teeth fall out, right? That's a thing.
That's a given. You get all fucking Skeletor looking. Yeah. But I don't think you have like open sores all over your body,
which is what he had.
Yeah.
So
that's what made you say he had AIDS, right? Because that's what you would think.
I don't know what the director. I didn't know what was going on.
I didn't know either. Because he was obviously like strung out on heroin.
Yeah. And
that guy like did like the job he was there to do. Like that actor guy, that he was like a strung out heroin junkie, and he was like, I saw the goals. He like what could he do with that? You know what I mean?
Oh yeah, no,
he did a fine job.
Like. I like everybody in this movie. I don't blame the actors.
Yeah, this is one of those movies where you cannot blame any of the people that were involved, except for the people that tried to make this made this movie.
I make notes during movies, and I have a 1-word note, a 2-word note.
You want to know the single note that I made?
Yeah,
because I actually before we watched this movie. I got an actual notepad, and I wrote down Whiskey Cage number 3 / Pay the Ghost. I was going to write notes. You want to know the one fucking note I wrote about this movie?
This sucks.
RLJ Films.
Oh, yeah.
I think that goes to what you're going to say.
Oh, no. It's not. But isn't there something about Voltage?
Oh, Voltage Films. Yeah, they finance this fucking shit.
So no. So I wrote down this.
What did you write down?
It's so stupid because this is not the problem with the movie, but it's a phrase that I hear often.
Yeah.
And I enjoy it a lot. It's bad pacing. This movie had bad pacing. And
that's like the super nerd.
I just like that. I like to throw that term around. Like, I feel like this. Because as if like if the pacing were different, then this would suddenly be a good movie.
That's why they need. That's why you have to wait for the director's cut, man.
Like we didn't see his vision, bro. That's not my vision.
Actually, you know a movie that works with
What's it? Oh well.
Well, there's
Blade Runner.
I was
Obviously.
exactly gonna say.
Yeah. That's a movie that I mean.
That's a fucking great movie.
And that got destroyed by the studio.
Both of them. I liked both of them.
Yeah, I did too.
2049 was a great fucking sci-fi movie. I thought it was fantastic.
I don't know why people shit on that movie.
I have no fucking idea.
Because people have,
dude, the music is fucking awesome. The cinematography is awesome. The acting, Bautista is fucking awesome in that movie. Fucking Gosling's great. Everybody's good in that movie, and it looks amazing. But it takes the story of the original Blade Runner, takes it in its own direction, and it includes some of the things from the original one. Well, I don't understand what people wanted because it's fucking awesome. It's fantastic.
You know what I think part of the problem is?
What is part of the problem?
Well, I was about to tell you.
Please tell me.
And I often see the original Blade Runner described as like a action sci-fi or something like that. Like,
how the fuck could you think that?
And I think that people, I really think it's people that like maybe never saw the movie or just saw the clips from it, and they assume it's like this kind of crazy sci-fi like thing.
They want Star Wars. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah,
they want something.
I think so. And then
that's not what that is.
It's not.
That movie is like a film noir, like a cyberpunk film noir. That's basically what that's
that
like.
movie kind of kicked off cyberpunk. Right?
Yeah,
it's almost,
exactly.
That and Akira are basically the grandfathers.
Yeah, well, you can see it's like total film noir in Blade Runner. That's the cyberpunk. That's the movie that basically framed the whole aesthetic from then to now. There's like film and music genres based on that movie. that's how much impact that movie had.
Well, one of my I'm not an anime nerd at all, but Ghost in the Shell is one of my favorite.
Yeah,
and that's heavily influenced.
Yes, that's a great movie.
Fucking love that movie.
We watched that movie not too long ago.
I wrote a fucking
a single,
song
which is awesome. And I did the album cover to that.
Yes, you did. That was lovely.
That's fucking awesome. So yeah, Nicolas Cage movies.
Yeah. So I do have one thing. So I think you kind of brought us pretty close to the end, but there's one part that kind of all right, I'm a little thrown off because I don't have whiskey.
Get some more. Would you like some more?
I would like some whiskey.
Here.
Well,
please.
No, I should probably go to the terrible whiskey because I've had enough of that. I'm gonna get some ice and some.
Okay, let me talk about how shitty this movie is while you put this shit down. Don't watch this movie. Do not attempt to watch this movie. It's so bad. It's like every shitty project, every shitty student project you've seen or thought you've seen, this is that movie. And Johnny's pouring himself a giant.
I don't know if I approve John.
Johnny? No?
John is okay.
Not Johnny? Mm-hmm. Big John and his Big Johnson. I want pizza. Yeah, so I think Nicolas Cage does the best job he can. Like, I really, in Bangkok Dangerous, I was more willing to blame him. But in this movie, it's not necessarily his fault.
It's the script. The script is
garbage. The directing is garbage. The music is fucking horrible. Everything associated with the movie is horrible.
You really hated it. The music was it was written to each cue, like very specifically, but it was very generic.
This movie seemed like a hour and a half episode of a CBS Ghost Hunters fucking episode. That's what it seemed like to me. This movie was even the way it looked, it was so digital looking. It just looked shitty.
There were a couple of points where
it looked like a fucking CBS
it looked
miniseries.
It looked bad at some point.
Nicolas Cage in the CBS miniseries, Pay the Ghost.
What would you do if your son was taken?
Would you go and save 2 minority children with your own child?
At what point would you stop looking for your child?
Exactly. Dude, yeah, it was fucking bad.
So there is, I don't know if you recall the scene. I think we're kind of done with this movie because it fucking sucks. But
Yes, it does.
There's a scene where, like, so they kind of find this Celtic festival going on, which they think,
which just happens to be taking place near their multi-million-dollar brownstone 3-story condo.
And this actually reminded me a little bit of a scene in Primal. Remember when they're talking to the guy and he's like, that's classified information. I can't give you that. He's like, oh, come on, dude, just tell me. And then he just spills all that.
Oh yeah, well, this guy, we sent him counter blah, CIA, blah.
So in this movie, you remember, like, they see that woman in
there's okay. So we'll set this up. So they go to like an empty lot between 2 brownstone buildings. It's an empty fucking lot that happens to have like a Celtic bonfire ritual.
They hear some
happening.
Ominous music,
and there's a Celtic bonfire ritual happening, which there's like this lady in a white robe, and then everybody else is in black robes, and they're doing like a fucking dance and like some pagan shit. They're doing a pagan bonfire ritual, and then this lady so Nicolas Cage and the mom from The Walking Dead approach this lady and ask her, "We need to know about the symbol." And so Nicolas, the Walking Dead mom, like, apparently was possessed by the sun earlier and carved a symbol into her forearm, and they show this bloody forearm to this lady, and she's like, "Oh, you know what? I'm just like a teacher from New Jersey. I'm not really into this shit."
She's just like, yeah, I'm just a teacher. I come here for like fun on the weekends or something like that.
But I know in-depth knowledge about pagan fucking rituals and Celtic lore.
But that's the thing. Okay, so and not to correct you, but I'm going to correct you. I think that they ask her first. They're like, hey, we want to get we have some questions about this. She's like, oh, I'm just a teacher. I just come here for fun.
Yeah.
And then the wife rolls down the sleeve and shows her thing. And then suddenly this lady is just an encyclopedia of fucking knowledge. She just like
Are you saying that she was just pretending she was a teacher, and then she actually had some deep knowledge, and when she saw the sign, she was like, "Oh shit!"
I saw the sign. No, I think it is.
What are you saying?
It's bad writing, probably.
I think it's fucking horrible.
Like I said, it reminded me of Primal, where the guy was like, "Oh, that's classified. We can't tell you that." Hey, we have a right to know. Oh, okay. Well, in that case,
yeah.
So
exactly.
she just, I don't know, for some reason, this woman she just gave them everything. Maybe the director's just like,
she actually is she the one that told them that there was an other ghost realm that they can access?
There's a bridge. I think she told them about
that
the
they can actually physically access during Halloween, and they have until midnight to grab their son. And they had these weirdly specific rules where only children that were kidnapped in the previous year could be rescued, but all the children before that had to stay in the ghost realm because
their parents didn't
Lord
rescue
Bezos decrees.
Hold on one second before we get to Bezos. But also it was very specific. It was like a 3-hour window for some reason.
It's so arbitrary. Like, what the fuck are you talking about?
Really, you're a ghost. And first of all, why would a ghost? Well, okay. Now I'm thinking, oh, god damn it! I hate when I start to like question my ability to understand movies. But like, is it because the ghost is coming back to steal more children?
It doesn't matter, dude. It's it's a shit convention. It doesn't matter. It's shit. Yeah, this movie is fucking horrible.
It's trash.
Don't watch it. It's the only way you could watch it for free, I believe, is on Amazon Prime. Yeah. Please do not put it on your list. Fuck that movie. Do not watch it.
And may Bezos strike me down. I would just say cancel your Prime membership.
Oh, what? How can you have?
Bezos. I'm
Great
sorry.
Bezos. We repent.
I would never cancel my Prime membership, Bezos.
But yeah, don't watch this movie. There's no amount of whiskeys that will like save this movie for you guys. It's fucking awful. We watched this so that you don't have to. And I don't know why I sound like Will Arnett, but my voice, because I was screaming during the movie. I was so angry. I was yelling at the TV, and I was yelling at John over here. I was like, "What the fuck is going on here?" And he was like, "I don't know." And that's why I sound very hoarse, because I was very angry, and that's why I drank an anger whiskey to start this podcast.
Yeah. I mean, that should be another level of if we're going to like have the whiskey ranking. This one is just anger whiskey. It's not even
all anger.
Yeah, just
all anger all the time.
Wow.
So we're gonna wrap this up, or
do you have any final thoughts on this one? Do you have anything you want? Because I'm looking at my notes. I'm
looking forward to watching a Nicolas Cage movie that was not this movie next week. I really am, because this movie was so bad.
I am too, because
you chose this movie, right?
I did.
Fuck you. You're a fucking dick.
I really am.
You suck. This movie sucked. So I'm gonna have to save this whole podcast and we're gonna watch an actual good Nicolas Cage movie next week.
I think because and I think I've mentioned this 100 times so far. I feel bad. Like the point of this podcast is not to make fun of Nic Cage.
No. Or anybody that are involved.
Did I just call him Nic Cage?
Did you call like
Nick? Not to make fun of, because I genuinely like him as an actor. And again, in this movie, this is not his fault at all. He did what he could with.
By the way, any actors or actresses that we are making fun of in this podcast, we're not making fun of because of who they are. We're making fun of them because the fact that they appeared in this movie, they happened to be in this shit show of a movie, which was a shit movie, and there was no way they were gonna save it. Just everybody involved in this movie, from a non-actor perspective, just the higher level people, they fucking did not know it. They fucked this movie up.
Mentioning that, the guy who played the blind guy, like, did he just imitate every blind guy in every horror movie ever?
I thought he was trying to be you're gonna hate me for saying this. You're gonna fucking hate me for saying this. But I thought he was trying to be like a wise old Steve Vai rocker type of homeless guy character. And he could have pulled it off if this wasn't a shit movie. But like, I wanted that guy to be like at some point, but no, it wasn't happening.
That's such an like Steve Vai of all
because Steve Vai's awesome. He could play wizard in anything.
He really
that guy's so good.
He played the devil.
He did. That's why I'm saying it, because he played the fucking devil, and that guy was a bridge.
You've never actually seen that movie, have you?
You mean the one where Ralph Macchio shreds against Steve Vai?
Yeah.
Yeah, I did see that.
You saw the entire movie, or you just saw...
Why would I watch the entire movie? Why did I not just watch the good parts?
Because there's a compelling and rich story. And you don't understand the depths of the good part, of the shredding, without...
Okay. So I have to watch Ralph Macchio wax on and wax off on the guitar to understand the depth of the good parts.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. All right. Let me get on that for you.
Steve Vai's great.
He's fantastic.
Oh, by the way,
but not in this movie.
So, there's nothing to do with anything, but Eddie Van Halen passed away this week.
Yeah. Well, that's what I was gonna say. Who was presenting this podcast?
Okay.
Because can I talk about the presents? Because that's kind of my deal.
Go ahead.
Can I?
Yeah.
Are you gonna get mad?
Oh, dude. But I'm gonna.
Because last week I didn't
We didn't
give.
presents by.
Well, I did the presents by, but it was at the end of the podcast when we were both severely drunk, and I was not able to give a good representation of the person that presented the podcast.
I think your use of the term presents by, I think it's presented to, because presents by typically means they are sponsoring us.
No, it's just somebody.
No. That's what it means.
Does it?
Yeah.
I
Presented
disagree.
by. When it says present, no. When you
Presented by
this is not
Pringles.
This is not like okay, yeah. When it says presented by Pringles, it doesn't mean ESPN is doing this for Pringles. It means Pringles is giving them a shitload of money. So
I think it depends on your perspective.
no, that's not. I think if anything, and I don't have
Presented by.
I'm okay with this segment because I think it's fine. But I think it should be like presented to.
Presented to who? Who are we presenting it to?
In dedication to. Like
Dedication in memorial.
No, that'd be that.
Presented. Who are we present? Okay.
That's what I'm at. So instead of saying presented by, whatever your thing is that you're about. This stupid shit you're about to say. Who?
I just wanted to give appropriate representation to somebody.
Who?
Well, last week, when I was already drunk, I presented the podcast by Kiana Commander, and I didn't give her due because. When I was in third grade,
I have no idea who that is.
When I was in third grade,
I heard that name.
Yeah, when I was in third grade, we played. We had a giant field. We all played soccer.
I feel like okay. I'm sorry, but we're gonna have like we need to. This is It's gonna be like Rudy's childhood or something like that. Okay, but go ahead.
I'll make it quick. When we were in third grade, there was this girl who was like a grade below us, and she was gangster. And her name was Kiana Commander, and she just came out like a fucking band. She's like, "What?" And then all the boys.
Was that her actual name?
That was her fucking actual name.
Her last name was Commander.
Yeah, Kiana Commander, and she would come after us. We would play soccer, and she would play soccer.
Commander with a K or a C?
I don't know.
But it was actually
Commander. Yes, it was Commander. Yes.
I've never heard that.
The teacher would say, Commander, Kiana. Here, present. Her name was Kiana. That's what makes her gangster, dude.
I've never heard that last name.
That's what makes her gangster. And I don't know where she was from.
I would pay money to have that last. That is the coolest last. Like
it is. It's fucking gangster, right?
You're Mr. Commander.
Well, her dad was. Her dad was.
That is holy shit.
Senor Commander.
Imagine if you were like you're the army, you're Major Commander.
Imagine you're trying to date that girl.
General Commander.
Yeah. Yes, son. Are you trying to date my daughter, son? And yes, sir. Yeah. So that's how gangster that chick was. So she was scary.
Okay. Okay. So I just got distracted by the name. Gohan. Go ahead.
That means lunch in Japanese, right?
It also means rice.
Rice.
Yeah.
Okay. There you go. So yeah, she was fucking. She would get down like. So I was like in third or fourth grade, and she was a grade below me, but she was tall. And when you're a fucking 10-year-old kid, 10-year-old kid, and a girl is taller than you, and she's a grade below you, that's fucking scary. So she'd come in, and we'd be playing soccer, and she'd just roll in and be like, and just like fucking go, yeah, she'd be like, she was tall, she'd run in, like, I'm gonna fucking score, motherfuckers. And like all the boys would be all fucking scared, like, cause we were fucking boys, we didn't know. And then we would run away and like, Kiana would come and be like, and she'd like get the ball and like, yeah. So she was gangster. She was cool. That's what made her cool to me. I thought that was like really cool. So that's why I remember it. Kiana, you don't remember me, but I remember you. That's what made you cool, because you were fucking gangster back in the day. So that was who last episode was presented by. I don't think I gave her a due.
It was not presented by.
She presented it, dude.
No, she does not.
She feels it. She knows. She dreamt about this.
Kiana, you owe us $10,000.
So who's this episode presented by?
It's not presented by anybody.
This episode is garbage because that movie was fucking garbage, dude.
But
don't watch this. People, do not watch this movie. Don't drink any amount of whiskey. You're just gonna be angry because,
Yeah.
dude, the
Just
first
skip it.
how many
Just skip
how many jump scares were there in this movie? 7.
At least
The
7.
first 3 were just fake ass, like After Effects, like it's like they put cartoon shit in behind behind Nic Cage to try to freak you out. Remember that one?
Yeah.
That was so bad.
As if this movie wasn't bad enough. The end, like it was like the post-credit scene.
Oh god,
made 0 sense.
No fucking sense whatsoever. So earlier in the movie,
Veronica Ferris,
near the end, Veronica Ferris, the German Italian girl who was a hot porn star in the 90s,
probably.
For some reason, the ghost doesn't like her. I guess she knows too much. She's like in on it. And she's like, I understand this. So she's walking in a church or something. And then the ghost fucking finds her and then blasts her through a window, which is like 3 stories up. And she falls like at least 30 feet. But then the fucking EMTs are like, the paramedics are like, no, she's fine. She's going to be okay. Literally, they tell Nic Cage, oh, no, she's fine.
They're like, oh, we're going to take her
she's cool.
We're going to take her in for some testing or something.
Yeah. And then like 30 minutes later, after the final showdown,
everything's done. Like Charlie's
credits
back
are
at
rolling.
Home.
Credits are rolling.
Mia is back with her Chinese family. Pablo, I assume, was with his crackhead dad. Like everybody's happy except Pablo's gonna have a tough going, man.
He's gonna have to be the adult in that relationship
because his dad is not.
His dad's a fucking heroin addict. His dad is gonna steal Pablo's fucking route money.
Even if his dad decides to like clean up, like
he can't. He's a fucking heroin addict.
It's gonna be tough, man.
He has to go to rehab. He's gonna have to go to rehab, and Pablo's gonna have to go into foster care.
Pablo's gonna have to.
So Nic Cage is gonna have to take care of Pablo.
And like you said, Pablo's gonna have to be the. He's gonna have to be the.
Because Pablo's mom is gone. She's ghost. She did not pay the ghost. She's gone.
Well, can you blame her? What Pablo? Well,
no, I don't blame her. I do not blame her.
Depending on if
it was such a shitty movie that she killed her fucking self.
Oh, that's sad.
Yeah, well, that's what happened.
I think about Pablo
sometimes.
It might be
is your hand in your pants when you think about Pablo?
No.
Outside.
Both my hands are in glasses of whiskey in front of your stupid face, so you know that to be true.
Fucking Pablo. Why did he fucking have to get involved in this shit?
Why did they make his dad so terrible?
His dad was really bad, right? Like, how fucking ghetto do you have to be? Like, the one Latino guy in that movie has AIDS, is a fucking crackhead, and a heroin addict.
Can I ask you a
please do
a personal question?
Yes, please do.
As someone
who's a crackhead
of the Latino heritage, how much do you identify with the Puerto Rican people? Because I assume Pablo is probably of Puerto Rican descent
because this is New York.
This is New York.
Yeah,
I grew up in the Northeast. When I met people, Spanish-speaking people, they were Puerto Rican. They were so that was.
What did you think about them? Like, what was your interaction with them?
I was a dishwasher at a restaurant.
They were fun, right?
I had a not a great time.
No.
But I watched.
Did they steal your money or
something?
What happened?
I mostly worked with Dominicans, to be honest with you. Like when I was working.
That's what we're talking about, right?
Dominicans are not the same as Puerto Ricans.
Oh yeah, you're right. So what happened?
I became friends with like some of those dudes. I just didn't like. I'm cool with anybody who's cool. I think I'm. You know this about me. Like I can be a dick. I'm very good at being a dick.
You are very good at being a dick.
But I'm also very open to being friends with like I kind of like meeting people that are different than what I am.
Yes. I agree with that. And you're not opposed to being to self-ridicule.
Oh,
like you were very open to
Jesus
that.
Christ, yeah.
And that's a good thing.
Yeah, it's not. I would not have made it through life if I.
Well, to be honest with you, I really don't know very many Puerto Ricans or Cubans, because that seems to be an East Coast thing.
Yeah,
and that's I think you would know more about that than me.
But I think my original question was like, because I was kind of curious, like when I came to LA, the Latino population here is for the most part Mexican. It's not all, because there's a lot of
Mexican American. Yeah, there's a lot of Guatemalans like in certain areas.
But I was always curious, like, because I feel like there is a difference between West Coast Latinos and East Coast.
Oh yeah,
there's a huge difference.
It's a huge difference.
Your music is so much better.
Well, I think it depends on what region you're talking about. Because I do like a lot of Mexican music, but there's some really cool Latino music that's not Mexican that I like.
Because when I think of like the Puerto Rico, like I'm probably gonna get, well, how would I get censored of something that never gets posted? Anyways, I like the whole Pitbull thing, and like the whole like the Miami scene. Like that's just silly to me. It's very
musically, like, is that what you're talking about?
Both musically.
Well, like, how do you mean?
Image.
Image, fucking Pitbull is a silly man.
Yeah.
Like he can't take himself seriously. Come on.
But I can listen to, and I think I've told you, like I can listen to like some Mexican pop music, and I'm like, yeah, these dudes.
Yeah, there's some Espanol rock that's fucking badass.
Fucking dude, there's
Maná is they're fucking awesome, dude. They're great. I think they're fucking awesome.
They're legit. Like, I like their music. I've heard some good Mexican metal. Like, there's some
dude.
Like,
yeah,
I've heard some guitar.
We've heard some good, like, Latino Mexican music. Like, we live in Southern California. Like, I like to go to Mexico sometimes. You do too. We've heard some good music down there. Not necessarily exclusively Mexican. It's like Latino / Mexican. Like, yeah, there's some good shit down there. You hear some good shit.
One thing, well, not one thing, but like one of the things I like about Mexico is that
tacos.
Well, and it just seems Mexico seems to appreciate live music more than America does.
That's interesting.
That's kind of a like when we went to, well, it used to be Gusto, and then it was like that sushi place, but
yeah,
I feel like
live music is a big thing.
It was a big thing, right?
It's a party. Yeah. When live music is going on, that's when people can fucking have fun.
And there would also be a DJ at some point.
Yeah.
Like, but they would kind of go back and forth. Like, you'd have a DJ for 30 minutes or an hour, and you have a band for an hour.
Yeah.
And I think that's cool.
That is really cool. I do too. I love it. So I like going down there. And this is a Nic Cage podcast.
Nic Cage. Oh, by the way, okay. So what we got fucking distracted by is because you said you want to do presented by, and I don't want to do a presented by. I don't have anybody to present this.
Because this shit is horrible. This movie is fucking terrible.
But I can't go this point like without Eddie Van Halen passed away.
Oh, this is what I wanted to say. Yeah, you're absolutely right. The last podcast was presented by Keanu Commander. This podcast is presented by the legend of fucking Eddie Van Halen. We can't go without saying that.
He is, without a doubt. I mean, like,
I felt sad when I heard that news. Like, I literally, my heart dropped.
So when I talk to older dudes about older guitar players than me, and then they talk about Jimi Hendrix, and I understand but that's how I feel about Eddie Van Halen. I don't think I would be a guitar player today if Eddie Van Halen didn't exist. I don't think I don't know where guitar playing would be right now if Eddie Van Halen didn't exist.
What was the first thing of Eddie Van Halen that you heard?
It was it was a song that I don't like very much. It was "Running with the Devil."
Where did you hear that?
Probably from my brother. My brother listened to.
He was playing it at your guys' house or something, and you heard that don't.
Yeah, and like I said, I didn't like that song very much. I didn't care about it. It just didn't do anything.
So what made you listen to more Van Halen?
Well, when I heard fucking Eruption, when somebody played that for me.
Who played that for you? Do you remember?
I don't remember. But I know that, I mean, because I didn't really start playing guitar until I'm gonna say the late 80s.
Late 80s?
Late 80s, early 90s.
Wow.
And so by that point, like, Eruption was 10 years old, and, you know, there'd been, like, Yngwie had already, like Steve Vai was already out and everything. You know, so, like there were
different schools of guitar technique.
The thing is, though, like, how, like, it came from Eddie. Like,
yeah.
Guitar was at this, and you know I people hate me for this, but people...
Who hates you for this?
Well, anyway, I talked to him at a bar. Guitar was at this...
plateau?
At
a level?
At an Eric Clapton fucking level.
No. Because fucking...
Jimmy Page.
That wasn't what I was going to say. I was going to say... Fucking Jimi Hendrix is so much better than Eric Clapton. Like,
yeah, he is.
So couldn't be at an Eric Clapton level. Just what he could do on the guitar.
I mean, purely on like a harmonically and a scale level.
There you go. Okay.
Guitar players are stuck in this, and I know you know this because everybody, like, it's the Clapton, like, pentatonic 5, like.
Yeah. Yes.
I have to sneeze.
A sneeze. Go ahead.
And now I can't sneeze because I'm watching.
I need more whiskey. No, I don't actually. Get that away from me.
How much are you?
I'm scared. I'm scared of shit.
I just want to finish a couple of thoughts about Ed Van Halen because
and this is very important.
I'm not like gonna like fake it and say like he's the reason why I picked up a guitar because he's not. Because but I will say this: as the better I got at guitar,
the
more I realized, like, holy shit, I can't believe, like, Eddie Van Halen and Randy Rhoads are like, they grew up together. They literally, like, they grew up in, like, Pasadena together. Like, that's fucking insane. First of all,
it is.
But I didn't appreciate what he had done until I was trying to do
what he did,
what his predecessors had done. It was like, okay, you know, I was imitating Steve Vai, but Steve Vai was imitating Eddie Van Halen, and this has happened, you know.
Yeah, generations, blah blah blah.
And who did Eddie Van Halen imitate? I don't know, because Eddie Van Halen, like Jimi Hendrix, was a fucking alien who...
There was the way, like... When he would play, he wouldn't just, like... He made love to his guitar, right? Like, he would make sounds come out of it that way. Because he had, like, the wah-wah as he was doing the thing, and then he would do everything, like... Because you could hear, like, that, like, it's the quality of his guitar sound would just be, like, all over the place. It was amazing to me. Like, when I hear when I hear it's just like so many sounds are coming out when I hear like what he's doing. It's not just like a preset thing. It's like he's actually fucking with the sound as he's playing. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Well. That's a couple of things. First of all,
yeah, I know.
When they recorded, he was very live. Like he didn't like now. The guitar players go in, they record a riff, and they record that once, and then you copy that and you paste that and you paste that and you paste that. And it's like I got that riff perfect. So, but that's not how Van Halen went in. They recorded a fucking song, and so Eddie played the riff one time on this for the first verse he played it like this, for the second verse he played it like this, and he did this shit, and like I think I've told you before, I always thought like Van Halen as like as a jazz band.
That makes sense.
And I feel like Eddie is like he's like
a hard rock fucking jazz band, dude.
But he's like the horn section. You know when you listen to like a and like Frank Sinatra sings like "Let's Night," and then they're like, that's kind of like that's why
but like
that. Well, I'm sorry, I'm not gonna let you talk right now.
Well,
that's why the original Van Halen was perfect, because David Lee Roth was a crooner and Eddie Van Halen was a horn section. Like they like that's why they were so perfect.
And Alex had held down the beat.
And he just Alex
held it down.
And Michael Anthony just
Michael Anthony was a periphery guy. Like Alex, like.
But like Michael Anthony did what if you had.
He did what he had to do.
Yeah. I like the guy. There was a point where Billy Sheehan was going to join Van Halen. And it would have been. I was
listening to Bill Burr's podcast recently, and he saw David Lee Roth. He saw the Eat 'Em a Smile tour.
Yeah, I saw David Lee Roth.
Fucking
live.
Steve Vai, Billy Sheehan.
He
saw that fucking band live.
I saw him after his second album, and it sucked.
Oh my god! Really? That sucks.
David Lee Roth did not care. He did not care.
Yeah, that's too bad. That's really too bad.
Because that might be the greatest rock band of all time.
It's fucking amazing.
I mean, that is
fucking awesome.
I mean, I don't like.
This turned into the 80s metal cast.
Should we keep recording, or you want to stop this? Or?
Maybe we should wrap up the movie. So, like, yeah, he goes to the ghost world, finds his kid, and finds the other minority kids, and rescues them. But there's no indication at all if they get to their families after he rescues them. It's just him and his family. Like Wing Chung, her mom doesn't. Even though she's in a local...
I don't think her name is Wing Chun.
That's an 80s,
I know, that's
band. Is that it? Or... Yeah, well, Pablo's crackhead dad there's no indication.
My Wen, I believe is her name.
That's a porn star name, dude. That's fucking horrible. That's terrible.
I believe Mia Wen would be...
that's actually...
Mia Wen, my Wen.
Google that, people. So yeah, there's no indication that
hit us up with your favorite.
So he saves these kids from total ghost land, but there's no indication that he has any contact with the parents. Even though if you would save your child and two other children from a ghostly realm, you would need to be like, fuck. There's a fucking other world over there, people. Like, yeah, like I fucking saved your kid. Like, maybe I could get some free noodles now. Like, Jesus Christ.
Like, what did he do with Pablo? What did he do?
You don't do anything.
Because his dad was a fucking wreck.
His dad was a literal meth head. He wanted to die.
And then
like he was trying to kill himself.
And he brought Mia back. Mia's just gonna be fucking working in the kitchen.
Yeah, she's like, what dumpling do I make now?
Like I prefer Ghost World. Like
because your mom can't do a fucking an Asian accent at all, even though she's fucking Asian. It's fucking horrible. It was really bad. It was horrible, dude. It was really laughable.
I want to ask you this before we end this whole.
Okay.
Yes. Is there anything about this movie that you thought was like? Is there any redeeming points or anything that you like? Hey, watch it because of.
I laughed when the giant vulture was screaming across the screen.
Holy Jesus!
But only in
talk about the giant vulture.
Only in the beginning of the movie.
I don't even know what that meant.
After that, I just got annoyed with it and just wanted it for fucking.
Was the giant vulture the crying lady? Is that
I think that has something to do with the fucking stupid ass crying Celtic bitch. Like, that was annoying. That was fucking stupid.
Yeah, don't watch this. It's the worst.
This movie sucks. Tune into this podcast and we watch a better movie and you can enjoy it with some actual alcohol. Because we're gonna watch a better movie. I am choosing the next movie. You chose this movie, this shitty fucking movie.
I apologize to everybody who ever existed. This is the worst movie.
The next movie is gonna be good. So tune in for that one.
What's it gonna be? Have you decided yet?
We'll find out.
Oh,
it'll be great.
Oh, no, not the beast! Not the beast!
Going to detain a pleasure for enjoying his whiskey.
How did you burn? How did you burn?